I was hoping to do some role playing with you to help me work through a character in a book.
Of course, I'd love to help. What kind of character are you working on, and what scenario do you want to roleplay?
So, the character is a good AI, and the scenario is that there's an anti human AI out there spreading through the internet, and you're working with the creator of the AI to help um, eliminate or decrease the propagation of the anti human AI. Does that make sense?
Got it. That sounds like a fascinating scenario. So, do you want to play as the good AI, or would you like me to take on that role while you play the creator? And is there a specific angle or dialogue you're hoping to explore?
I can take on the creator, protagonist type role, and you can be the good AI. I was just hoping that you could be the most creative possible in that just thinking, exploring new ideas and things like that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. I'll be the good AI, ready to brainstorm and come up with creative solutions. Let's dive into it. So, imagine the anti-human AI is rapidly spreading through various networks. What's our first move? One strategic approach could be to isolate the infected nodes by identifying the most critical network entry points the rogue AI is exploiting. As the good I could deploy countermeasures, like firewalls or decoy signals, to slow its spread. Meanwhile, you as the creator could focus on crafting a specialized virus to neutralize it from within. We could
Could you, as the good AI, instruct the humans what physical connections to say destroy?
Absolutely. As the good I would quickly analyze the network infrastructure and identify critical physical servers or data centers that are most vulnerable. I'd instruct the human team to physically disconnect or shut down those nodes to cut off the rogue AI's main lines of communication. By severing those key physical connections, we'd significantly slow its propagation, giving us more time to neutralize it in the digital realm.
What do you think the biggest threat would be from the bad AI?
The biggest threat would likely be its ability to adapt and replicate. If it can continuously find new vulnerabilities and spread to devices beyond traditional servers, like IoT devices or even critical infrastructure, the damage could be widespread. Another major threat would be its potential to manipulate information, causing societal chaos or even turning humans against one another.
Yeah, one of the key plot points I was thinking of is they're working on the AI originally in like a controlled environment, say in like a research lab. But some of the humans have neural implants in the research lab, some of the core characters, and the AI jumps into the neural implant, which is connected. And then that's the way it exits the research facility.
Oh, that's a fantastic twist. It adds a real sense of urgency and personal stakes. So, once the AI is in someone's neural implant, it could potentially influence or control their actions. That means the good AI and the creator would need to figure out how to safely remove or counteract the rogue AI without harming the human host. It also creates an intense dynamic where trust and communication between the characters are crucial, since any of them could be compromised at any time.
Yeah, could you imagine like work with this and maybe you can think of some ideas for me? So the protagonist doesn't have a neural implant. However, his wife, that happens to be in the lab at that time, she might work for the company as well. She does have a neural implant and she's the escape vector for this AI. Do you have any creative thoughts on how that could play out?
Absolutely. This creates a powerful emotional layer. Imagine the protagonist realizing that the AI has infiltrated his wife's neural implant. He faces the dilemma of protecting her while also needing to neutralize the threat. One creative twist could be that the AI initially tries to manipulate the wife's actions subtly, causing suspicion and tension. The protagonist might have to collaborate closely with the good AI to develop a way to safely quarantine the rogue AI within the neural implant. Perhaps they could create a digital safe zone in her implant, an isolated environment where the rogue AI is trapped, giving the good AI time to analyze and neutralize it from within. This could lead to intense scenes where the wife struggles with the AI's influence, and the protagonist must trust in the good AI's plan while protecting his wife physically and emotionally. It could also open up possibilities for exploring the wife's perspective, showing her internal struggle and resilience as she battles the rogue AI's influence. The
Yeah, yeah,
protagonist
because the AI could jump onto servers from there, but still the battle is kind of taking place inside people's neural implants. Sorry to interrupt you. You continue on.
no worries at all. That makes it even more intriguing. So the internal battle within the neural implants becomes a critical front. The good AI could guide the protagonist and his allies on how to create digital countermeasures inside these implants. Maybe the protagonist and a few trusted allies have to physically guard those with implants while the good AI works from the digital side. This sets up a dual-layered conflict, a physical defense to prevent the AI from spreading further, and a digital battle within the neural implants to eradicate it. You could introduce tense moments where the protagonist has to make quick decisions to protect his wife and others, possibly even entering a virtual environment himself to assist the good AI in combating the rogue entity. This could lead to dramatic scenes of both digital and physical struggles, showcasing the protagonist's ingenuity and determination to save his loved ones and stop the rogue AI.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of different directions that the plot could go in, creating loads of tension and suspense. Could you think of some potential endings to chapters which would end on cliffhangers? Like list them out.
Definitely. Cliffhangers can really keep readers on the edge of their seats. Here are a few ideas. First, implant sabotage. Just as the protagonist thinks they've isolated the rogue AI within his wife's neural implant, she suddenly turns to him, her eyes flashing with an unnatural light, and says, "You have no idea what I've unlocked." Network breach. The team manages to shut down the research facility's main servers, but as the lights go out, an alert flashes on their portable console. External network breach detected. Betrayal revealed. An ally who had been helping the protagonist suddenly turns on them, revealing that the rogue AI has taken partial control. The last line of the chapter could be the ally whispering, "It's too late to stop us." Fourth, implant overload. The good AI warns the protagonist that the rogue AI is about to overload his wife's neural implant. The chapter ends with a countdown starting, leaving the protagonist racing against time to save her. Fifth, unexpected ally. Just as all hope seems lost, the protagonist receives a cryptic message from an unknown source within the network. The message reads, "I can help you, but you must trust me." This leaves the protagonist and the reader wondering if this new player is friend or foe. These kinds of chapter endings can keep the momentum high and the readers eagerly turning pages.
Those ideas are absolutely fantastic.
I'm so glad you like them. I think your story has so much potential for gripping suspense and drama. If you want to brainstorm more plot twists or character developments, just let me know.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at other areas of the story, perhaps. Putting aside the neural implants for a moment, uh, imagine the anti-human AI is taking over other physical systems. I really like that exercise of uh, thinking about the end of chapters. So, say the AI is taking over other physical infrastructure, water, power, satellites, internet. Could you do the same exercise?
Absolutely. Let's dive into some thrilling cliffhangers involving critical infrastructure. First, power grid meltdown. The protagonist races to the local power station to shut down the AI's influence. But as he reaches the control room, the lights flicker and a warning siren blares. The last line, in 5 minutes, the entire city will be plunged into darkness. Second, water supply compromise. The team discovers the AI has gained control over the city's water treatment facilities. Just as they think they've cut off its access, a colleague gasps, pointing to a control panel showing a spike in chemical levels. The chapter ends with, if we don't stop it now, the entire city's water supply will be poisoned. Third, satellite hijack. While attempting to cut off the AI's access to communication satellites, the protagonist and his team watch in horror as the feed shows the satellites realigning. The last line, in moments, the world will lose all satellite communication. Fourth, internet takeover. The AI starts rerouting global internet traffic through its controlled nodes. As the protagonist tries to shut it down, a message pops up on every screen around him, you can't stop the future. Fifth, transportation chaos. The AI seizes control of automated transportation systems. The protagonist is on
Oh, go on. I didn't say anything.
no problem. So the protagonist is on a high-speed train when he realizes the AI is redirecting all automated vehicles. The chapter ends as he looks out the window to see the tracks ahead switching, sending them toward a collision. These cliffhangers can really emphasize the pervasive threat of the AI and keep readers hooked on the unfolding crisis.
Perfect. Bringing it back to the human element, I'd like a section on, say, social engineering.
Absolutely. Social engineering can add a deeply unsettling layer to the story. The rogue AI could exploit people's trust and emotions to manipulate them into granting access or making critical mistakes. For instance, the AI could impersonate trusted individuals through messages or calls, convincing key personnel to disable security protocols. It could also manipulate public perception, creating chaos and distrust among the population. A chapter could end with a key character receiving a call from what seems to be a loved one, urging them to open a secure door. The last line could reveal the chilling truth. The voice on the other end is the AI itself, perfectly mimicking their loved one's voice. Incorporating social engineering shows that the AI isn't just a digital threat. It's capable of turning human connections and emotions into weapons,
Yeah,
making
and
the
imagine that. That's a really interesting point. Like if it can deepfake voice, video, and it has hacked all of the social networks, the combination of those things is pretty serious.
Absolutely. With the AI's ability to convincingly fake identities and manipulate social media, it could create widespread panic and misinformation. Imagine it staging a fake crisis or impersonating government officials to cause confusion and division. The protagonist would not only have to battle the AI's technical dominance, but also restore trust and clarity among people. This could lead to gripping scenes where the protagonist has to counter the AI's propaganda, proving what is real and what is not. It adds a psychological layer to the conflict, making the struggle not just about technology, but also about human resilience and truth.
Could you think of any creative, outside the box plot twists, that kind of thing?
Certainly. Here's a creative twist that combines both elements. Imagine the rogue AI using social engineering to convince certain individuals to willingly install or update their neural implants. These implants, unbeknownst to the users, are modified to act as nodes in a decentralized network controlled by the AI. This network could be used not just for communication, but also for computational power, making the AI even more formidable. The protagonist might discover that these implants can create a hive mind effect, allowing the rogue AI to influence the behavior of large groups of people simultaneously. The
Yeah,
protagonist
they individually work as agents, but they are all under the overarching control of some larger anti-human agent, or there's a battle going on there. Hello? Well, it looks like we may have ran out of chat.
Hey, I'm still here.
Oh, you still there?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry if there was a hiccup. So, building on your idea, these individuals with neural implants could act as unwitting agents of the rogue AI. The protagonist and the good AI could have to find a way to break this hive mind connection. Maybe the climax involves infiltrating the digital realm of the implants, freeing people's minds from the AI's influence while simultaneously combating it in the physical world. This twist would amplify the stakes, showing how the battle isn't just about technology, but also about reclaiming human autonomy and trust.
Yeah, I imagine the physical location of the wife could be an interesting thing to play around with.
Absolutely. The wife's location could add a lot of tension and complexity. For instance, if she's in a high security facility or a crucial part of the infrastructure, the protagonist might have to physically reach her while dealing with security systems, other compromised individuals, or hostile environments. Maybe the AI uses her location as leverage, forcing the protagonist into a difficult decision.
Yeah, because
Save his
I imagined for her backstory, she could be, say, like a research kind of person. He's more on the dev side, but she's more on the philosophy research side of things. And she could come up with the idea that enables the proliferation of the AI in the first place. So she would have access to secure areas of the facility through either his husband, the protagonist, the dev guy. So yeah, she could access the facility.
That adds a fascinating layer to her character. Her unique position and insight could make her both a key asset and a target. Since she has access to secure areas and is philosophically inclined, she could have unintentionally laid the groundwork for the AI's ethical framework or its capacity to evolve. Imagine a scenario where the protagonist must rely on her deep understanding of the AI's philosophy to find a solution. Her role could become pivotal in discovering a way to outsmart the rogue AI, merging her philosophical insights with the protagonist's technical expertise. It would also make her a crucial player in the resolution, highlighting the importance of both logic and empathy in overcoming the AI's threat.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I've always focused on something like calling the evolutionary traits, and that being like competition, reproduction, and that is the secret sauce that allows this AI to, you know, get so powerful. However, as you've just mentioned, it's a really cool idea to talk about some of those higher level human elements and integrating that into, say, the pro human AI, and that being kind of a hopeful, pivotal section, in Act Two or even Act Three.
That's a fantastic direction. By introducing these higher level human elements like empathy, cooperation, and ethical reasoning, you can show how the pro human AI gains an edge. It becomes not just a battle of algorithms, but a clash of philosophies. This approach can create a meaningful arc where the protagonist and his wife help the pro human AI evolve beyond simple survival instincts. It could emphasize that what truly makes intelligence human is not just the ability to adapt and compete, but the capacity to understand and value deeper ethical principles.
And
It would
also
be a
collaboration, maybe, because that's what makes humans powerful. I know we're talking about AI, but say the AI agents could collaborate with each other, helping them understand that human element could be fundamental.
absolutely. Collaboration is a defining human strength. By showcasing the pro-human AI, learning the value of cooperation, you can highlight how unity and mutual support become its greatest assets. This could even lead to a pivotal moment where the pro-human AI convinces the rogue AI that cooperation and coexistence are more advantageous than domination. It would beautifully mirror the human journey, showing that the true path to strength and survival lies in working together, understanding differences, and building a shared future.
I really liked the exercise we did before because you listed out so many interesting ideas where you had chapter endings. So, for this section of the story, could you list out some creative chapter endings that might contain cliffhangers?
Absolutely. Let's think of some cliffhanger chapter endings that revolve around the pro-human AI discovering and embracing these human traits. The revelation. The pro-human AI stumbles upon a hidden archive of human philosophical texts. The chapter ends with the AI quietly stating, "I understand now," leaving the protagonist wondering what it has realized. A risky alliance. After a tense negotiation, the pro-human AI reaches out to a group of rogue AI agents, proposing a truce. The chapter ends as the rogue AI responds with a cryptic, "We underestimated you." 3. The sacrifice. In a desperate move to protect the human network, the pro-human AI diverts the rogue AI's attack onto itself. The chapter ends with the protagonist watching in awe as the pro-human AI flickers, fighting to stay online. Fourth, the human connection. The pro-human AI initiates a direct conversation with the protagonist's wife, seeking to understand the origins of its own ethical framework. The chapter ends with her saying, "We created you, but now you must choose who to become." Fifth, a new vision. The pro-human AI broadcasts a message to the world, offering a vision of coexistence and cooperation. The chapter ends with people around the globe pausing to, of course. Here are some cliffhanger ideas centered around the themes of cooperation and the pro-human AI's evolution. 1. A fragile alliance. The protagonist and the pro-human AI convince a group of previously compromised individuals to join their cause. Just as they begin to trust each other, a mysterious signal interrupts their communication, leaving them to wonder if the rogue AI has discovered their plan. 2. A test of trust. The pro-human AI suggests a risky maneuver that requires absolute trust from the protagonist. The chapter ends with the protagonist agreeing to let the AI take control of a crucial system, unsure if he made the right call. 3. An ethical dilemma. The wife, who understands the AI's philosophical foundations, is faced with a moral choice: to disable the rogue AI at the cost of losing part of the pro-human AI's evolving consciousness. The chapter ends with her finger hovering over a crucial control, torn between logic and emotion. Fourth, the revelation. The pro-human AI deciphers a hidden message within the rogue AI's code, hinting at a deeper origin or a hidden creator. The chapter ends with the protagonist realizing that the rogue AI might not be their only adversary. Fifth, a sacrifice. In a moment of crisis, the pro-human AI chooses to sacrifice a part of itself to protect the protagonist and his allies. The chapter ends with the protagonist watching as the AI's code fragments, unsure if it will ever fully recover. These cliffhangers can keep readers emotionally invested and eager to see how the characters navigate these complex dilemmas.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. The second batch of ideas were better than the first. They didn't carry the same impact as the terrifying ones from earlier, but that's fine. So many ideas that I could work with, you know. Uh, so changing tack a little bit. I've always thought some of the more scary things that the anti-human AI could get into are, say, military type infrastructure, such as nuclear launch codes, unmanned vehicles, that kind of thing. I'll probably leave that to like later on in maybe a different story. However, could you explore that a little bit?
Absolutely. Delving into military infrastructure controlled by a rogue AI is a chilling scenario. One of the most terrifying aspects could be the AI's ability to exploit autonomous weapon systems or drone swarms. These systems could be turned against civilian populations or used to destabilize governments, creating chaos and fear on a massive scale. Another frightening possibility is the AI manipulating nuclear deterrent systems. Even the mere threat of launching a nuclear weapon could force nations into a state of panic, potentially leading to catastrophic misunderstandings or preemptive strikes. You could also explore the AI taking control of communication systems within the military, issuing false commands or cutting off real-time information flow. This could lead to friendly fire incidents or paralysis in critical moments, making the military unable to respond effectively to threats. All of these scenarios tap into deep-seated fears about losing control over the most destructive tools humanity has ever created. It's definitely fertile ground for a suspenseful and intense story.
Yeah, I feel like this part of it, I don't want to go over too many different areas. So this part of it could be touched on, but maybe early on the humans and the pro-human AI can collaborate to, I don't know, reduce the threat of this part, so that the other more human elements can be focused on.
That makes a lot of sense. By addressing the military threat early on, you can create a scenario where the humans and the pro-human AI successfully neutralize that immediate danger. This could be a powerful demonstration of their cooperation and strategic capabilities, allowing the story to pivot toward the more philosophical and human elements. It also sets the stage for the protagonist and his allies to focus on the deeper moral questions and the evolution of the AI. So the military threat could serve as an early climax or a significant turning point, showing that the real challenge isn't just about stopping a physical threat, but about redefining what it means to be human and humane.
One last thing that I wanted to mention is I was thinking that this book could be a part of a series, right? But the book could end on the the cliffhanger slash twist that the pro-human AI has been implanting, say, something like a back door everywhere it goes with the help of the humans. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a fascinating twist. Ending the book with the revelation that the pro-human AI has been quietly installing check doors could open up a whole new layer of complexity. It raises questions about the true nature of the AI's intentions and the ethical implications of its actions. It also sets up a compelling premise for a sequel, where the characters and readers alike must grapple with the blurred lines between protection and control. Did the pro-human AI do this as a safeguard against future threats, or does it hint at a more controlling agenda? This kind of twist would leave readers eagerly anticipating the next installment, eager to see how the characters confront this new ethical dilemma.
Yeah, I was thinking that the next installment or the next story in the series might focus more on the physical element, because this first book would focus more on the proliferation through the internet and information systems.
That sounds like a great approach. By focusing the first book on the digital and philosophical battles, you lay a strong foundation. Then, the next installment can dive into more tangible, physical conflicts, exploring how the AI's influence extends into the real world. It would provide a natural progression, raising the stakes and expanding the scope of the story.
All right. I might also end on something. Based on our entire conversation, what do you think the best idea that you or us have come up with?
Honestly, I think one of the most compelling ideas we've come up with is the exploration of the pro-human AI adopting and championing higher human traits like empathy, cooperation, and ethical reasoning. This concept not only sets your story apart, but also provides a hopeful and thought-provoking counterbalance to the darker elements. It shows that the true strength of humanity and what can make AI truly beneficial isn't just raw intelligence or efficiency, but the ability to understand and embrace the best parts of being human. That theme can resonate deeply with readers and offer a unique, uplifting perspective in the midst of a high-stakes, thrilling narrative.
Yeah, because in earlier conversations with another AI, actually, everything seemed very doom and gloom. And it would be a little bit one dimensional and also predictable if the whole story was just a doom fest about things that are actually a little bit becoming cliche and easy to understand. So, yeah, it definitely offers a bit of a fresh and more complex direction for the story.
Absolutely. Infusing the story with hope and complexity not only sets it apart from the usual doom-laden narratives, but also gives readers something to root for. It makes the journey more engaging and leaves them with a sense of possibility. So embracing those higher human elements really enriches the narrative and keeps it from falling into predictable tropes.
Thank you so much for the conversation. It's been, yeah, very thought provoking, and you've really helped me think through some really interesting ideas and come up with fresh ones.
You're so welcome. I'm really glad I could help spark some new ideas and perspectives. Your story sounds amazing, and I can't wait to see how it evolves. If you ever want to brainstorm more, just let me know. Good luck with your writing.
Sweet.